One of the most important stats in classic Fallout games are action points. Using action points you can do, well, actions in a combat turn. Everything you do in combat, like shooting and moving, is dependent upon the number of these action points. The more action points you have, the more things you can do in a combat turn. So can you beat Fallout 1 with the lowest amount of action points? Side note, if the screen sometimes looks strangely zoomed out and stretched, it's because I'm filming this on my phone. My computer couldn't record for now and I want to get this thing done as soon as possible. It could also be considered another layer of challenge considering how small the buttons were. Not a bad experience though. If you also want to play Fallout on your phone, I'll put the instructions in the description. Now, let's get into the video. So we arrive on the character creation screen, and the first thing to do is obviously to dump my agility points, giving us a total of 5 action points. Although low, we could go even lower with the bruiser trait, which adds 2 strength at the cost of 2 action points. Man, I wonder why everyone keeps recommending against using it. So now our action points are 3, which to my knowledge is the lowest amount I can get, which means I'm unable to fire most weapons, can't access my inventory during combat, so I have to have healing items on my active slots, and I can only move 3 hexes. Also, because my agility is so low, I don't have access to many perks, such as bonus rate of fire and bonus move. Now they're all weapons I can use. All fist weapons, some melee weapons, and many other weapons with a fast shot trait. But standard non-aimed shots aren't much without sniper, and I gotta have stim packs on my active slots. Also, I didn't think I would use any of it before the run started, so I just stuck with it, which in retrospect might have been a better idea to pick fast shot, just in case. For the rest of my stats I put strength at 4 since I won't need it much, 6 perception is good, 9 endurance since I thought I needed the extra health. Charisma actually has no effect on the amount of companions you can have, unlike Fallout 2, and the dialogue options aren't super useful, and not even that much, so 4 is a good number. High intelligence for skill points and some dialogue options, and high luck because I didn't have any other thing to put my skill points to. Tack the basic lockpick and speech, and also sneak, since I hope to avoid some fights with it, but at this point I didn't know how useful it would be later on. Named my character Tortuga for some reason, put myself at the ripe age of 35, and now our journey begins. The overseer tells me to get out and find water, so I leave the safety of the vault for the outside. My first obstacles were these rats, which I hoped to sneak past, and failed. Fortunately, their moves are pretty limited, and after getting hit a couple of times and slowly crawling my way out to the exit, I got out and set out to the nearby town of Shady Sands. Talked to this lady at the entrance about the mechanics of the game for 250 XP, and talked to Aradesh about the rat scorpion problem, which I agreed to help. Now obviously I can't kill them myself, but there happens to be a companion nearby. Ian is the first companion you can get and is pretty decent all around until late game. All companions fail by late game though. Ian is good with pistols and SMGs, although it's better not to give him an SMG or unwanted things may happen, like him blasting you and all your companions instead of the enemy. But otherwise there's no issue. I talked to Seth and got to the rat scorpion's cave. Ian was more than a match for all the rat scorpions in the cave, and we cleared it pretty easily. Hey, level up! I got the antidote from Roslo and talked to this farmer about crop rotation. Although the dialogue option didn't come up, I still got the 500 XP for doing it. Strange. Stole a rope from this house and our work in Shady Sands is done. Now on to Vault 15. The only enemies here were rats, which are pretty easy to take care of. Turns out that for some reason the vault's control center is blocked by a pile of rocks, although I doubt there would be a water chip left now, so I have to go look elsewhere. My next destination is Junktown for 2 reasons. 1. To trade with Killian. 2. To get my second companion, Tycho. I got to level 3, which means that I can pick a perk. There's nothing here better than awareness, so I picked that. and spend some skill points leveling up my tag skills, and also gambling. You'll see why later. My mere presence spawned an assassin out of nowhere. This is why I don't go around people anymore. But he died, so I can get the next quest to catch whoever sent this guy. Watch some random bartender absolutely discombobulate someone from a single pistol shot, get a leather armor from his corpse, get the location of the Brotherhood, and finally, my next companion, Tycho. Tycho is a bit tougher than Ian and is good with shotguns and rifles alike. Although, like Ian, don't give him a burst weapon like the assault rifle. I talked with the average man from the United States. Turns out he wants Killian gone because he cramps up his business, which means he can't buy enough food to feed himself. After I showed the tapes to Killian, I got a few stim packs for a reward and agreed to confront the big guy. Unfortunately, he was no match for the 30-hit critical that Killian gave him, and he died. After that, I traded a few things for 2,000 caps and found my third companion, Dogmeat. Dogmeat is as useless as many melee companions, and keeping him alive is notoriously difficult, even being referenced in the next game. But I just want to see how far he survives in a companion-focused run like this. I then went to do the quest to join the Skulls, and my first task is to steal the cremated remains of Neil's wife. It was your own mistake, old man. Who the puts their wife's ashes on the bar counter? I'm surprised some drunk guy didn't accidentally knock it over. And after doing that, they asked me to go with them at night and kill Neil. And with that, I got enough evidence to report them. Confronted and killed another criminal gang. Job well done. And returned Neil's trophy. Everything in Junktown is done. Now my next destination is the hub. Unfortunately, this cool reward is completely useless. What? Loans with interest? Not on my watch, you worshipper of the devil. These 2,000 caps will definitely help in my, investment. Remember, 99% of gamblers quit before hitting it big, or just fall into financial debt. And after becoming the 1 percentile of gamblers, I quit with 130,000 caps to spend, which I spent on guns and ammo, just like how you should spend any amount of money. Then tried to rescue a Brotherhood member trapped nearby. Unfortunately, Dogmeat died during this fight, providing us with an answer to that question. Only a few minutes. Natural selection only favors species that can wield guns. My key to power armor is saved at least. Become the most knowledgeable person in the wasteland, and went to help Irvin with his radar problem. His farm was took over by a gang. Naturally, police didn't do anything, proving that the police don't care about lower class people. So I have to take up my mantle of a vigilante and be the savior of the people again. Now this section was actually pretty tough because there were many enemies and my companions didn't have much health. I figured the only way to beat them was for me to tank as much damage as I could, and hopefully neither of us dies before the thugs are dead. Which failed a few times, but eventually worked and all the thugs are dead. And got my reward from Irvin, a 223 pistol, one of the strongest small guns in the game. With this weapon, I wonder why he couldn't clear it himself. I agreed to help Butch with the missing caravans. I talked to Harold, who supposedly has more information on the Deathclaw, and went to the cave to see what's up. And surprise, surprise, there's a Deathclaw. At first, I tried to sneak past the Deathclaw, straight to the mutant, but after a few tries, I don't think it works. Fortunately, he wasn't as tough as I thought, and we killed it. After that, I delivered the good news to Butch, and after that, delivered the bad news. Then I went to the water merchants to buy some water for the vault, which gives me 100 days of extra time and 1000 XP. I'm going to need that. And spent a few skill points improving my sneak. Report Decker, the owner of the Maltese Falcon, after he tried to get me to kill Hightower. In my 3 playthroughs, I have not met Hightower a single time, but I just want to be done with this. After killing them all, I went and bought some radix for the next quest. For some reason, this is the only time you ever need radix in both games. Our work in the hub is complete, now on to the Brotherhood. Talk to the guy with no eyes about joining the Brotherhood, and he tells me to go jump into a radioactive hole and bring proof that I jumped into a radioactive hole, without telling me what I should do to not die. It does sound dangerous, but 2 radixes should give you enough radiation resistance to clear out the whole thing. Nobody came back from the Ancient Order, and all they needed to do was eat 2 radiation resistance pills. Anyway, let's go to the glow. There's nothing really noteworthy about the glow. It's just a couple of floors you have to clear and get some holodiscs. So I'll largely skip over this one. At level 4, I tried to play chess with a supercomputer and lost, not because I'm bad at chess, even though I am, but because this dialogue option is bugged. There's nothing like a critical intelligence check. The game was rigged from the start. At level 5, there's these lockers with some loot. This locker contains the Stealth Boy, which, like all Stealth Boys in Fallout, makes you invisible, greatly improving your sneak ability. It will be very useful for times I need to sneak a lot. You will see. I returned and became an initiate for the Brotherhood. Watched some martial arts lesson and got a power armor from Talos for rescuing the Brotherhood member. Became a cyborg in level 2 and talked to Ree in level 3 about the super mutants. Turns out they're all sterile, which gives me one of the most important items in this run, Ree's holodisc, which makes endgame for a run like this possible. Then talked to the Elder and agreed to scout the military base up north. But before that, there's some things I wanted to do in the Boneyard. Now, I'm not gonna do the Regulator quest because of all the death claws, but I do want some hardened power armor. And my final companion, Katja. She isn't very useful at this stage of the game, but it's better to have her anyway. Did the quest to get the parts for Crockett, and using my sneak skill, I managed to get it before the Deathclaws noticed. Get the chemistry journals from the hub, and I finally got my hardened power armor. Now to the military base. Now you might have noticed that I did not go to Necropolis and I didn't get the water chip, and that's because we don't really need it. The only conditions for the endgame to initiate is having the master dead and the vats of FEV destroyed. So I thought not to give myself extra trouble and go straight to the military base. On the way, I got the Bob Scar random encounter and stole a BB gun from him. Imagine you shoot your friend with your limited edition BB gun and he just dies. I found out that the military base exists and got back to the Brotherhood to inform the Elder. After talking to the other Elders, they agreed to send some paladins to attack the military base. Normally, they wouldn't be that useful because they don't follow you into the base, but every little bit helps now. I wonder if it's because the paladins would block your way to the elevators, which is what happens if you have an upgraded version of the game. Told my companions to wait and took care of the mutants at the entrance. Once inside, I was immediately greeted by 3 mutants. With no way to kill them myself, I had to get creative. I positioned myself in a way that the rocket launcher guy would also damage the other mutants. This worked for him and one of the others, but one of them survived. His health was low enough that I could kill it with the red force fields. For the rest of the base, I can use my sneak skill and my stealth boy to avoid most fights. I skipped level 2 because it's not vital and went on to level 3. But there's a problem here. Flip the super mutants confronts you no matter what. Even if you are sneaking, if you disable the force field, he will come and confront you, and there's no way out of it. So after engaging him, I had to painfully walk back to the elevators. Once I got to level 1 and down again, he became non-hostile, and I could sneak past him. I don't know why this Mr. Handy on level 4 wouldn't turn on, so I just disabled the force field myself. I set the base to 3-minute silent self-destruct and quickly got out of there. Gathered my companions and watched the military base blow up. Now only the master remains. But before that, I remember Tandy got kidnapped. I rescued her so that a new California Republic begins, only for it to be nuked later so that the Brotherhood can get to be the big players again. The cathedral is actually pretty easy. I just convinced Lasher to give me a COC badge. talk to Morpheus and convince him to take me to the Master, and convince the Master to kill himself. Get out of the cathedral, watch it blow up, and the game is completed, and the world is saved. Except my vault, since I didn't give them the water chip. And get exiled to the waste, because I'm too much of a Chad to live in the vault. And that's how you can beat Fallout 1 with the lowest amount of action points. Hey dear viewer, if you reached this part of the video, congratulations! You've reached the part where I beg you to like and subscribe. But seriously, if you think the video was good, leave a like and comment down any more Fallout 1 and 2 challenge ideas you would want to see next. And if you want to see those challenges in the future and get notified of them, subscribe and hit the bell icon. Thanks for watching, have a good day, and goodbye.
Hey, you not look like Ghoul. How come? Huh? What?